We lost audio?
Do you want me to minimize it?
Or maybe that's me, actually. I don't know.
How about this? I actually minimize a bit.
Okay. All right, I'm switching to speaker. It works. I hear you now.
Do you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. All right, then shall I begin?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, great. So, hello everyone. Just like I said, my name is Rawan, and I'm a CSO at Procyan. So, I must say from this screen, we're really big dreamers who want to make a better world. But the question is this: why do we want a better world? Well, just like the United Nations, we believe that every life has the right to quality education. But here's another question again. Is that really true? Well, for example, 3 out of 5 teenagers in the world, including the United States, do not have basic math skills. And that's mainly because of the shortage of good math teachers. So imagine this. When you have a good teacher or tutor, your abilities grow so fast because the tutor helps you find out why you're getting wrong, understand the concepts that you don't know, and keep practicing the problems that you need to work on together right beside you. Well, it's really easy, right? But surprisingly, not many could do this because turning things that human tutors can do into AI requires even more high-tech features. But in this part, Procyan can help students with the following. 1, a unique level test, and 2, a math-focused AI chatbot that's serviceable in 104 languages to explain concepts, and 3, a math computation engine generating a limitless number of problems. And the result of the functions I described is this, our product, Solgit. Well, in Korean, Solgit means tempting. And I want to say our features are tempting enough to attract a lot of students because with just one finger, you find out your weakness, you get the explanations you need to know, and you keep solving problems that you need to work on. Then you might wonder, does it really enhance math skills? And thus, is it effective? Well, the answer is yes, especially to those who didn't know what they didn't know. And in that sense, I believe we're such an important actor in solving a global problem because out there in the world, still 3 out of 5 students don't know what they don't know. And I saw from our data that there's such a huge demand of students in the United States for Solgit to find out what they don't know in mathematics. That's why, going beyond the Korean market, Procyan provides services in 104 languages and generates zillions of problems with the engine to allow students in the world to have their own AI math tutor. And speaking about the market size of AI-powered tutoring is going to be $88.2 billion in 2032. But as of now, it's about $2.5 billion in terms of the total market, which means we need to invest in the future when you compare the number with that of the 2032. So to invest in the future, we actually thought about 3-level strategies. 1, in case of B2G, or should I say B2 international organizations, we're going to use the UN procurement to reduce marketing fees, but easily enter the emerging markets. And 2, in case of B2C, we're going to secure early patrons with the freemium model. And 3, in case of B2B, we're going to customize a service based on each country's K-12 math curriculum. So, in conclusion, to achieve our vision, we're now looking for pre-Series A funding to reach a revenue worth $6 million in 2 years, which is 24 months. And I know we can do that because, as you can see from the screen, I believe that we are truly change makers trying to make a better world. So I myself here am Rawan Yim, a Chief Strategy Officer here. And unfortunately today, Jae-yoon could not attend because he's so sick. But he's really a math genius, and I'm good at international affairs. So we made a team like this, and I hope you enjoyed our presentation. Thank you.
Thank you. That was a great presentation.
Thank you so much.
And of course, I have some questions. I think maybe I didn't catch it, but what's the age range of students you would like to service?
Oh, that's a very good question, and thank you for that. So first of all, our product Solgit provides a math curriculum from the middle school students and high school students. So for example, in case of the United States, it could be 7th grade up to 12th grade. But still, what's really important about the mathematics is that the thing about the 7th grade and the 8th grade mathematics is that you need to have basic knowledge that comes from the 4th, 5th, and 6th grades mathematics too. So right now in our database, we are actually making some problems for the elementary school students too. But as of now, I must say that we only have data up to from the middle school to up to the high school students.
Okay. And so is that specific to math, or are there other areas that you would cover?
Oh, we are math geeks, so we love numbers, and we believe that mathematics is the #1 subject that we should deal with when we are starting our business. And I do have a really important reason for that. So first of all, we're living in the world of the STEM, right? Science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. But the thing about the STEM is that without knowing the basic concepts of mathematics, you cannot do science, you cannot do technology, and you cannot do engineering either. But if you actually extend the concept to the social realm, it is actually insinuating that if you don't have good mathematical knowledge or, wisdom like that, then you're not actually getting good opportunities when you're getting jobs in the market. That's why we're tackling with the mathematics first, and that's why we're dealing with the mathematics education.
Okay, but it sounds like you're not excluding doing something more later.
Sorry?
Oh, it looks like you're not excluding doing more than math in the future.
Good question. I love money too. So so starting from the mathematics, because like I said, or I think you kind of get the sense of what we're doing in the long term, because starting from the mathematics in the long term, we're tackling the STEM. So, but to do that, first of all, we need to have a database. And it's actually easy to get the database of the customers and clients, especially if you're dealing with the mathematics, because in the market, if you look at the size, you ask a question to students, what subject do you need, what kind of help do you need the most for what kind of subject? 40% answers with this, mathematics.
Mhm.
That's why we're starting with that. And in the long term, we want to tackle the STEM education in total too.
Okay, yeah, I guess it makes sense because as they grow, as they get older, then you might get to STEM just when they need it.
Oh, yes. I mean, I want to
Okay,
have education too. So
yeah,
yeah.
that's great. Um, so since you're using AI and large language models,
Mhm.
um, sometimes, they might hallucinate and they're not really good at computations in
Uh,
itself. They're really good at statistics. So how do
yes.
you prevent hallucinations from appearing in the curriculum?
Thank you for bringing up that question. I mean, totally. So let me move on to this slide. So do you see the third element here? Generating new problems limitlessly with our math computation engine. So I want to say that that math computation engine is our own patented technology, and that's our own proprietary, meaning that, just like you said, the problem of the LLM is that since this is basically based on the language, it's not really good with mathematics and computation. That's why we actually made this special technology. We tokenized each numbers and we tokenized the words. So by using our own natural language processing method, we are really good at making mathematical equations. And that is the power of the engine we have. And that totally differentiates our company from others.
Okay, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So you're probably really augmenting a large LLM that already exists with your own specialized knowledge.
Yes, absolutely. So that is actually one of the reasons why Jeremy, our CEO, wanted to make this mathematical math computation engine, because if you ask the mathematical questions to GPT 4.0, it actually gets dumber when you get the answer because it's actually based on more of the larger data of languages. But that is not the case in our company because we do our own engine and we do have our own math-focused natural language processing method. But in terms of the LLM, I want to say that we are integrating our Google API, that is a translation, and we're integrating that with the math-focused AI chatbot. And we do have algorithms for that, just to make sure that we provide a solid, that's math focus when we are providing contents for students. So when we are having this presentation in front of investors, they ask us this, aren't you just making questions from the GPT? But that's not the case because you cannot do that. You need to have your engine for that. And that's why sometimes a lot of companies ask for the API services just for that. But to be honest with you, when we are entering the market, we want to start it from the B2C because we really do want to share our vision globally with our partners around the world. So I hope that answers your questions.
Yeah, it does answer it. Did you mention which large LLM you were using, like in the background, in addition to
Oh,
your own algorithm?
so as of now, we're using ChatGPT made by OpenAI and
Mhm.
ChatGPT 3.5. And there's a reason for that. 4.0, it gets dumber with numbers. So we don't want that. But we don't actually need new information when we are providing mathematical concepts for students. That's why we don't need that much data for that. And besides, we actually input our own data for the mathematical concepts too. So that's not a big problem for us. But in addition, I want to say that we are actually able to integrate our engine with other types of AI chat services too. So that's the other strengths of our company too.
Yeah. So for you, the LLM is just there as a communication device with the user.
Exactly.
Mhm.
It's for the interactive learning.
Okay. And
Yeah.
so I don't think you mentioned the pricing and that
Mm.
aspect of the business.
Oh, you're very sharp. Yeah. So here, let's look at this. So in terms of financial, we intentionally didn't mention about the pricing because, like I said, we only launched the product, the MVP version, in August 2023. And I'm actually looking at the patterns and behaviors of our users and clients. That's why we didn't set the fixed amount for that. But in terms of our calculation, we conjectured that we want 1 month subscription fee as $30.
Per month.
Yes, by
Okay.
having that, for 2 years, by having 200,000 users, if you multiply that, then the expected revenue over 24 months could be $6 million. So
Mhm.
that's money that we're looking for. And I hope.
Okay. So what's the time horizon to reach that objective?
Oh, yes. So starting from, we're actually still advancing our technology. That's why we launched our MVP in August 2023. But to commercialize it, we're actually looking for June 2024 next year, which is almost coming, right?
Hmm.
That's a time horizon. And that's why I think this time CES participation could be really useful for us because I think in the process of introducing our product, we need a lot of investment. And by having that investment, we can employ more backend engineers and front, those kinds of things. And if we have good high quality staff, then I think the times horizon could be shortened. So I hope your writing could help us reach that.
It might.
Yeah.
Um, okay, so since you mentioned CES, what exactly will you demonstrate? Can people come to your booth and try the app for themselves?
Oh, yes. So for example, we're gonna introduce our MVP model just like this on a slide. We're gonna introduce our MVP free version model for the audiences, and there's a reason for that. For the premium version, we're going to introduce more high-level difficult problems for students who are already good at math. But before doing that, it's actually more important to attract the early adopters and early patrons for our free model. So by having that at CES, we want to attract a lot of audience and also to the investors. We're actually having our own IR pitching at CES, thanks to the Korean government. Uh, to them, let me be very honest. I wanna have some significant, important actors who share the same vision with us. The main problem that we're experiencing in the Korean market is that they only think about money. I mean, money is important too, but in the long term, if you look at the history, all the change makers who changed the world just do not think about money. They also think about the social values too. That's why we're keep tackling the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. And at the same time, we also say about the ESG, especially the social part. And we also think about the corporate social responsibility too. That's really important, and that's going to change the market in the long term. So at the CES, we want to promote ourselves as a change maker, not only to the audience and investors, because we really want some people who have a big heart, just like us.
Okay, that sounds great. So for people who don't know ESG or not familiar with how that works, is it fair
Mm.
to say that some investors might earn more ESG points if they invest in your company?
Oh, well, to be honest with you, I think people who care about the world would surely know that. That's my stereotype or that's my thought. But I do really think that investors are the ones who need to look around the world and find a problem. And then by investing it financially, they want to be partaking in solving global problems too. That's why if it's people who share the same vision with us, I mean, I would be more delighted to. But to be honest with you, it doesn't really matter if they are the ones who didn't care about it. I want to help them realize that this is important in the long term. So yeah, so I hope my answer is I hope my answer is kind of satisfying enough for your question.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And I have one more question about the number of languages that you support. So
Yes.
I understand it can be a lot because it's machine driven,
Mhm.
but you would probably need to provide some support and marketing and all that. So are there languages that will come first? So
Oh,
Korean, and then what's next?
thank you for that. So let's look at the slide here. So I showed you the landscape in AI Math Tutor. and I explained that there are not that many companies who are providing multilingual services. But first of all, to answer your question, yes, we do have our own primary languages, and the first one is English. Of course, Korean is included because we are Koreans. So let me say this: Korean is the first one. Second is the English, and here, look at this. We're also working on French, Malaysian, and Indonesian. But frankly speaking, English is the #1 language in the world. If you have that, you can open up the market. That's why Korean is the primary. Second is the English, and we're actually working on improving the quality of the English services too.
Perfect.
All right.
Thanks for the answers. Yeah, that was my last question for this round.
Oh, thank you so much.
Oh, thank you. I was about to say do the last question and about to wrap up this session and move forward to the next company. But so that was your last question, right?
That was it on my end.
Okay, so all right, so thank you, Procyan, for being in this meetup. Hope your company will have more audience and get attention at the CES next year. So thank you so much.
Thank you for having me in. Thank you. I'm guessing that Hubert, are you from France too?
Yes, I am.
Ah, oui, bien sûr. Enchanté.
Enchanté.
Enchanté. Merci beaucoup. Merci beaucoup pour the opportunité.
De rien. À
It was
bientôt.
really nice meeting you. Yeah,
Nice to
thank you
meet
so
you.
much, and I hope to see you again.
Likewise. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.